in L5's favor.
That was the favorite battleground of Resurgence. We even saw that they picked it versus L5, who also loves Infernal Shrines. So it makes me wonder if we have something else that Resurgence might want to try, if they're going to go in and choose to have the next battleground pick. Maybe a place. Is there any place that L5 would maybe feel off their game?
I mean, it's tough to say. The StarCraft maps are usually kind of off the radar for the Korean teams, so you know, we sometimes see Brax's comment. That's something that they could consider here. It looks like we're going into Towers of Doom. Again, I'm not entirely sure whose pick this is. I thought the last was L5, but it was not. But if Resurgence wants to get first ban here, maybe L5 is going to take this map. We've seen this map a lot in Korea, and it's the map, again, where we actually had that Greymane win in Game 5 back in the Summer Championship, so that's the map that comes to mind for me always when I think about that triple support, if you will. The map here, we could see some really interesting picks from Resurgence. Like, we used to see Lost Vikings on this map a lot. We don't really see that as often anymore. Maybe they've got a specific snipe strat for this map, not even necessarily for L5. They want to bring out here so they don't just get knocked right into the loser bracket. Maybe we see something weird out of them. I'd like to see, again, Resurgence be the team that leads the draft and makes L5 respond rather than the other way around, which L5 totally controlled in that first game.
Yeah, it's tough to do that versus L5, though. Any of these Korean teams who have their ways completely set, they know exactly where they're going to go game plan-wise. Here's we're going to see whose choice it was. I think it's probably Resurgence's choice, although they never picked it in their regionals. It still seems like maybe it's something that they've been working on and that they are going to bring in a style, and that is the case.
Yep, it absolutely is. L5 will have first ban here again, so really hoping to see something unusual out of Resurgence. L5 hovers the Zarya, which means they're probably leading towards a more normal draft here. This is normal. We see them first ban. It's just considered kind of to be the strongest, early game hero, and can be paired with so many different strong auto attackers, especially Vala, that if you don't want Zarya and you give that to the secondary team, they get such a strong pairing almost every time. We've seen L5 actually take Malfurion here a lot of the time when they're in first pick rotation. They just give that to Swoy, allow him to have good CC control. And let's be honest, right now Malfurion is the top tier support, and he pairs well with almost any type of comp. So I feel like he's the safe first pick right now for L5.
It's definitely the favored support. 14 out of 15 games won on Malfurion for Swoy, and he does enable his team to make a lot of plays with that. But Zeratul is going to be the first pick here, a roaming hero for L5.
Yeah, tough to kind of see where Zeratul is coming from on this map, obviously. And he can help delay those altar channels and also can get picks on heroes that are trying to roam around. Also, again, I don't think this is going to be the Lost Vikings pick here from Resurgence. I was really just throwing that out as an example, but he can counter that quite well with his ability to kill those lone Vikings as they try to channel altars. Resurgence definitely thinking hard on this one, which is worrisome for me. It means that the Zeratul pick has probably caught them a little bit off guard here, and they're trying to figure out the best way to deal with that. We see them take ETC and Falstad. ETC, the semi-global here, is very powerful at pushing lanes and helping secure bell towers, and Falstad, obviously, just by his nature, is an insanely strong pushing hero that you need to respond to. But Gilly, I kind of feel like Zeratul is a great response to Falstad anyways.
Yeah, he is. He is... It's going to limit the split pushing that can be done from Falstad in a lot of ways because of the fear of Zeratul, especially when he's not showing anywhere else on the map. Muradin, this is our first Noblesse Muradin of the event, undoubtedly not the last. And I thought that they'd follow up with Malfurion, but instead pairing Ragnaros with Zeratul, which is something we see a lot more from MVP Black.
Yeah, and it almost makes it feel like they really want potentially Resurgence to take them out here. I want, they could obviously just ban it, but it almost feels like intentional because most regions aren't prioritizing Muradin this early. They didn't necessarily have to grab it here, especially considering that ETC was already taken. Perhaps they're afraid that Resurgence would have just banned it away. Because again, I feel like Resurgence has definitely done the research here. And even though a lot of regions aren't saying Muradin is all that right now, I'd say Resurgence definitely would know to ban it. So a tough ban here right now. They could look to ban range damage since they already have Falstad. They could also
maybe Dahaka.
They could ban the Dahaka, but like
still have two. Yeah, there's 3 melees already.
Yeah, so that's the reason why they wouldn't. If it were any other comp, they would definitely look to ban the Dahaka to control globals. And L5's picked up right away that this is going to be a comp that's not looking for a melee assassin. It's looking for a melee global, very likely. Then you have 3 globals if you allow the Dahaka here. So that's a terrifying concept in itself, right? So I like the Dahaka ban here for L5. And with the Vala ban instead of Malfurion, it means that that's kind of a free pickup for L5 right now if a Resurgence doesn't take it right now. So they're looking to take the Malf. And Malf, ETC is so powerful in terms of early game. You power slide into a root, and then that target is dead almost no matter what. You know, I just don't see them taking any other support. The other thing, too, is we've seen this a lot in Korea. I was actually talking to you and some of the other casters about this earlier. Malfurion is such a good counter in a lot of ways to Falstad. If you know where he's going to fly, you just simply put the root down where he's going to land. Oh, man, they're just going to take Karzim here. This is super unusual to see Malfurion just not given any love in this draft. He's down to the last rotation here.
Well, for Resurgence, I feel that this is a point of comfort. They do play Malfurion, but in watching their regional, felt like Julian's best was probably Karzim. He can play either heroic ability, so we could maybe see 7-sided from them, but likely it's going to be Palm. But trying to hit Palm versus this execution comp that you have with Void Prison and what?
Oh my god, okay. Well, first of all, you're picking Lucio into ETC, and Cleanse is almost a must against that amount of CC. This could be a 7-side strike game for sure, because ETC really empowers that, isolating one target with the power slide into the face melt. But Lunara...
I am so happy right now.
Lunara was not played, if I'm not mistaken, a single game in HGC Korea. Did not see one game of play. And it's super unusual to see this hero here. Obviously, she does a lot of damage. She has good pushing power. She does a lot of damage over time. But...
I'm so excited to see Lunara.
I'm excited and surprised, you know? I feel like L5 is really showing some new stuff here already in this first best of 3, which I really didn't expect to see from them.
But, you know, Lunara is going to make life difficult. I'm not sure what heroic she'll pick, but if she goes for Leaping Strike, which seems to be more of where Lunaras have been headed, Karazim could have a really hard time trying to palm through the poison damage. Or she could go Thornwood Vine and have that really long range ability to just be able to stall out the tributes for a long time. They have such good stall. And then Lucio, Lunara is going to be hard to lock down on top of that. Yeah,
she already has such great movement speed when you actually pair that, of course, with his amplified movement. I mean, how are you going to catch that wandering deer? It's going to be pretty tough. I feel like the Tyrael pick, we didn't really talk about it. It's not a bad pick, but it's not a super strong pick. They would have really liked the Dahaka there. You know, when you look at the heroes they have lined up, they have total global control. If they have the Dahaka, they can push lanes. They can leave him alone. They can be aggressive with their Falstad ETC rotation, just clear those waves, and ETC is just so terrifying, you know, in the 4-man, because he just makes any aggressive move super risky. And before 10, when Lunara has Leaping Strike, she's not going to be able to escape. So Lunara versus ETC is actually something I'm a little bit worried about for L5, because if she gets caught, there's no way out. And Lucio doesn't have burst healing per se to save, and he doesn't have cleanse. So you take a comp with Lucio, you don't have cleanse against ETC, and you have a big squishy hero like Lunara that doesn't have much of an escape. That's what I'm most worried about for L5, and I don't like to fault, you know, their drafting in general, but this is a draft that to me is very surprising.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see Lunara and Lucio. And again, in this very first series, where we expected and generally see the team that is so highly favored to win the series come in and be fine with playing exactly what they played before, just because they don't want to give anything away. But in both of these games now have been changing things up quite a bit. I mean, the last draft was old school, but still different in general from what they've been playing so far.
Yeah, and, you know, Lucio is no stranger to Korea. Every support player, when he was released, was coming to me and G-Clef, of course, and saying, no, like, I know people aren't saying he's that good because he doesn't have cleanse, but if you're up against a comp that doesn't really lock you down super hard, Lucio's really strong. ETC is the big concern here, obviously. But Hyde was the support who we've seen the most Lucio on in exhibition leagues, not in HGC, of course, because Lucio was never allowed. But I feel like, in theory, this can work, but there's a lot of ifs that come into it. And I think the positioning of Lunara, which I believe should be played by Nacho Jin here, is going to be the most critical, because if he makes mistakes, if he gets caught, even with Lucio to help speed him up, he's dead. If he gets power slid and Resurgence is coordinated, which they already showed in game number 1, they definitely are coordinated. They're not nervous. They're not with the jitters. I think that, that's going to be the make or break, especially in the early game.
When I looked at the composition that Resurgence drafted, I immediately, with that early pick of ETC, thought stage dive, because it's a large battleground. You want those globals, but they do already have Falstad. Maybe they're going to go for a Mosh. They have the Sanctification Mosh, and maybe they change that strategy up, given that there is a Lucio on the other side. Yeah,
I mean, I actually completely agree. I think that's definitely what they're going for. When you look at it at the beginning of the draft, it felt like global control, but there's no cleanse either. You just get that one target. You're not getting out that way. And this will be Swoy's, of course, first career game on Lucio, as Lucio was not allowed during HGC Korea, so he was unavailable for play. So already in our first best of 3 here, we're seeing some Asian Lucio. Lucio's a scary, threatening support on his own, by the way, of course, with his ability to boop, as they call it, players into range of other CCs and damage. You boop someone into Lunara, they have no escape, or they're struggling to escape. Lunara just continues to do DOT damage. That's pretty terrifying as well. And the team will need to group up properly to get the full heals from Karazim, because that's their real source of healing against all this Lunara damage over time. So it's important to group to make sure he gets those full heals.
And if they're grouping, yet another reason maybe to go for Mosh Pit there, because there are some ways of being able to stall it out. So very important that our ETC player, CW,
yeah,
is able to be patient with his abilities and know exactly when to go in. And if they have something like Force of Will, or Wave of Force, from Li Ming, then again, and Gust, things like that, they really have to be on point with these heroic abilities to make this work.
That is absolutely the case, Gilly, as we get ready to go into the second game. Don't forget the map is Towers of Doom if you're just tuning in and missed it. Looks like we're going to jump into that second game right now. All right, in blue, SC on Ragnaros, Jungha here on Zeratul, Nitrogen on the Lunara, Swoy on Lucio, and Noblesse on Muradin. Two-time back-to-back world champions. Their opponents, Capricorn on Falstad, Zappy on the Tyrael, Youngyu on the Li Ming, CW on ETC, and who did I miss? I think Julian on, Julian on Karazim. That was the one I missed. There you go. Got him this time. They couldn't block me. They couldn't stop me.
They were trying hard, but you prevailed. Resurgence showing a little bit of their flexing that they showed in their regional, having Yu Yang play Li Ming this time and putting who is normally a ranged player, Zappy. He does play Zeratul, and in this case will be playing Tyrael too. They're going to go for an aggressive push here. 5-man in the bottom. They're going to get at least one tower down before the responsive L5. Now, can they get out safely? That's the real question. That's
always tough against a Lucio composition, but their positioning here and their quick retreat, they got exactly what they needed, then got out. And it's tough to turn on a team that has ETC at level 1. Like I was talking about earlier, ETC is just such a strong presence with his CC that when you try to collapse on a team like this, it could get turned around on you real fast if CW gets that nice power slide. So a slight lead in terms of structures here already for Resurgence.
There are 2 wall ride talents at level 1 for Lucio. I think this is Accelerando, so increasing his movement speed the longer that wall ride's active. It's hard to tell with the 2 different color schemes.
Yeah, of course we're on a different feed here, but normally in Korea, from what I've seen, we've seen a lot of Lucios just simply go into the passive increase on speed.
Okay.
Which is, quite different from this. This is more individually for Lucio to make sure he can keep up with his team to maintain that speed bonus. but you know, it obviously does sacrifice just that early game straight from level 1 movement speed. Zappy is in trouble. He already used Eldruence here. He is going down for sure. We didn't see exactly how he ended up in this situation, but he is going to leave it without even using his passive to do any additional damage. Very unfortunate here, but that's first blood for L5.
L5 setting up to contest these first altars and getting a kill on Falstad right at the beginning. Not the worst person to lose, as the altars spawn, he can fly back in, but in that amount of time, it's possible they're not going to get any of these altars. Over on the left, Ragnaros is channeling, and the bottom Lunara is as well. They've got several people to be able to... Oh, that was beautifully done, Zappy. Eldruining in to stop Stormbolt from Noblesse. Did give Noblesse a stack, but importantly, at least Resurgence got one of the altars.
Absolutely. It's way more important to get that that altar than to let Noblesse get a stack. So nice block there. Sway actually did a lot of delay there, which was pretty crazy, as SC actually stepped over his bounds here, trying to get greedy in lane, and actually will be punished for it. So Resurgence also picks up a kill here. They could definitely swing the momentum back. Jungha rotates up here. He's alone. Was maybe looking for a pick onto a greedy Capricorn, but it's not going to happen. He's just going to sit here and soak. In fact, he's already seen by Zappy, and they're going to collapse on him here. L5, 2 greedy moves actually getting punished right now, and Sway going to use that extra ride speed here to escape, healing himself up. Oh, he's playing with fire right now, but he's just so quick. It's hard to catch him. Julian's hiding, though. And he does actually do a little bit of damage, but not enough to get the kill.
All right, things stabilizing out for now, but L5 losing one member has allowed Resurgence to catch up just slightly in experience, but it's important that they don't get far behind L5 like in the last game, because they need to be able to contest all of these altar phases. L5 rotating in to get their sappers. We'll see. Resurgence so far not doing this, so if L5 pick up on this, we may see them go in and try to invade, and that's actually what Resurgence are doing here. Yeah,
Resurgence wants to stop this. Unfortunately, they're unsuccessful. Now CW is super out of position. Jungha comes in as well. CW is not getting out of here. No way about it. Jungha does come in, and oh my god, he gets away for just another moment, but will actually go down, and now Julian is in trouble. Does get that dash away. And Yu Yang is being super aggressive. And look at Swoy. He is just zipping around. Gets very low. Actually uses his own amplification to try to heal himself up. Does give Yu Yang a reset. And Jungha being super low. This is actually risky. I feel like L5 is trying to style here. And it is not working out. Noblesse narrowly escapes. Jungha again plays with fire. Looks for the kill on Yu Yang. They are really trying to push the button here. And I feel like if this continues on too much, Resurgence is starting to get the better end of the deal here. Oh, this is impressive. Good move. Good move by Zappy there. Tricks him, gets that shield up, and gets the kill. And we are even in kills right now between these two teams.
Well, that's going to be feeling good for Resurgence. They, again, are able to trade out on altars. They need to make sure they're not losing out on some of the soak. There's a tendency for SEA region to all rotate in for a fight at once and then end up losing out, even though they may be able to win and get some kills just because they will stay for a little bit too long. So making sure that they're getting back into lane as much as possible. Lunara has been constantly in the bottom lane. Didn't go for Nature's Culling, though, to help her out with any extra structural or like minion damage. Instead, getting Splintered Spear, so trying to spread that poison as much as she can, so Karzim just can't keep up for his team. Yeah,
that's definitely a bit surprising, but I can't really disagree with the choice. I think it's wise either way, as Noblesse is again trying to be super aggressive here onto Zappy, but Capricorn rotates down. Noblesse gets his Dwarf Toss off, isn't interrupted there by CW. And all the while, the issue here for Resurgence is, again, they have this global Falstad, but they're getting out-soaked. Yeah. You know, when you look at the top lane, it's constantly getting free soak from Jungha, and Resurgence doesn't have a response to that. So yeah, they're getting these small wins and these skirmishes oftentimes, but the longer game is definitely going to L5.
And that's just the way that L5 always likes it.
Yeah, it's the macro play. And you know, there's kind of a yin and yang to all sorts of top-down games like this. You know, in StarCraft, a lot of people say there's a macro and a micro, right? And I think in this case, it's the aggro and the macro. And Resurgence is definitely handling L5's aggression, actually turning it on their heads. But they're still behind overall because the bigger picture is where L5 has their focus. Now, there's going to be a leaping strike here coming out at 10 for Lunara. So nothing surprising there. It's going to give her a little bit more escapability as well as chasing.
Yeah, and gives her some follow-up to the Void Prison too, depending on how that goes down. So now we have to keep an eye on SCSC. and his Zeratul, how he can get the setup for Void Prisons. Alter Phase about to start. Resurgence almost getting heroic abilities, but there's nobody in position really to be able to safely stop Swoy from picking up this Alter. The zoning from L5 is too good, and they'll pick up another Alter.
It's going to give them an 8 core health lead right now. They're still, of course, now an even talent tier, and they don't have a bell tower lead, so this is still anyone's game, absolutely, but L5 just has this comfort lead right now. And they have a slight EXP lead. Uh-oh, Julian is in some trouble, does get away here. Jungha is, again, going so far in. So there's the protection.
I got confused because Tyrael was holding his heroic ability for a long time, and this isn't the patch with the judgment damage buff. Nor is that necessarily what we're going to see even once that does come in, so I was wondering what was happening, but it is going to be Mosh Pit. We'll see if CFW can set one up, maybe right here, but he's getting pretty low and is going to have to back off from the situation for now. Oh man,
Noblesse, you know, we talk about it all the time, but he's just so good at knowing exactly how long he can live. Didn't even need to pop Avatar there for the retreat, and now CW is caught. Jungha actually does commit to the Vorpal, but they can't get the kill. Swoy comes in, he's locked on here, but he doesn't get the kill. Jungha comes in for the Void, and oh no, he dashes into it. This is so bad. No smash available though, unfortunately, so they don't actually get the huge follow-up. Palm almost goes off here on Yang. Knows Noblesse actually being patient there, does wait. Now CW's caught, and they do escape. Really good play out of Resurgence. I feel like they're playing out of their minds right now. Zappy, though, there's no way out of this one. He will go down, so L5 finally, after a long, long skirmish and about 6 or 7 heroics used, they get the kill.
The Palm did get Li Ming out, so that was a welcome pick for Resurgence. Unfortunately, losing Tyrael there is not the best point, and they won't have that Sanctification cooldown for this Alter fight, but neither will Void Prison be available for L5, so big long heroics on either side. But the setup, again, has been more favorable for L5. Every time we get these Alter phases, you know, they have the experience advantage, even though they don't have the actual talent tier advantage. Their zoning has just been really impressive, and having the kill on Tyrael, the last in there, has given them at least one of these. Yeah, one Alter so far.
Yeah, that's the one earlier on in the game. Swoy's been playing so aggressive, which I think means he's probably going to get back in the mix here at 13 just to make sure he has that healing whenever he does get stunned or rooted, of course. Oh boy, Noblesse is going to go in all the way. He does Avatar here as well, and Swoy is super aggressive right now on the chase. Great palm there against that smash, and it's actually going to be Noblesse that goes down first here. And this comp so far for L5 feels like in team fighting and in these skirmishes it is absolutely not working out. There's the kill onto Swoy, and they're looking for more here on the Nacho Gen. There's the Disintegrate, unfortunately does escape there, but Resurgence is winning consistently these fights, I feel like, when we have these longer engages, and that's pretty worrisome right now for L5 as this game continues. And right now Resurgence going to take this small lead.
Oh, that swing. Yu Yang's in trouble. Singularity Spike. Jungha jumps in, takes the kill, jumps out as Sanctifications drop. Thank you very much. And that puts L5 back in at least a nice, comfortable position, and importantly, using Molten Core to make sure they don't start losing the Bell Tower game.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Resurgence made a wise choice to try to push in there, but maybe stayed a bit too long. The Sank was so late. Now it's a wasted Sank that didn't save Li Ming, but if it had been used just a second before, it would have been an amazing Sank that actually perhaps allowed them to stay there. It would have been super worth it. So 2 big wins there for L5 in the pick and the super long cooldown of Sank. Right now, L5 is going to posture balls and try to bait here. Julian's actually the first to go and check it. He does have a dash away using his Spirit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. In fact, it absolutely will not. He palms himself. So L5 gets that win here. Oh, dashes away from that smash. A lot of missed smashes here, I have to say, from SC in this game. It's definitely a really powerful heroic, but only if you can hit it. And Julian, being a slippery Karazim here, gets out unscathed. Having to use the palm, of course, but really nicely done.
Yeah, I think part of that just comes down to the fact that it has been Jungha who plays Ragnaros so much. I really thought that it was SCSC playing Zeratul, especially since in the past when the team has drafted multiple melees, SCSC plays the Zeratul in that case. He's once again in trouble. No getting out of here. Nice pushback once again from Resurgence just to ensure they can get the kill. And another pick for Resurgence. They are hanging in this game.
Absolutely. And You know, it's really important that you mention that because we've seen some players unable to play Ragnaros well. Like, in the past, Ragnaros is always the hero get picked in the top lane, and you see heroes or players that aren't as familiar. Oh my god, Capricorn gets blown up here. Now this is going to be a huge Pumpkin Man wave. But going back to my point, just really quickly to finish this off, when you have inexperienced Ragnaros players in the top lane, they get picked often. We've seen it so much in Korea, and Resurgence is picking up on this real quick to get these kills. They've been winning these skirmishes, they've been winning the trades, but they're losing, again, the big picture. The Pumpkin Men gave L5 another huge lead. They're doubling the core health at 28 to 14 right now, and they're going to invade here and stop Julian's channel. Plus, they have that bell tower lead right now. This is really unfortunate for Resurgence as the rotation comes up.
That was 10 free shots with bottom and the left side. L5 are happy to give away the 3 shots to Resurgence because they are on game point at this instance. They could take the boss, they can try to escort a couple of camps once again, or they can just wait for the next altar phase. They can also try to go get a bell tower somewhere else, but Noboss is hanging out at the boss, diving in.
Oh man, they know Falstad is missing. He's actually clearing the bell tower right now. This is actually going to be a lead here for L5 in terms of bodies right now. Speaking of bodies, body blocks there on CW. The Void Prison doesn't work with a combo, but it just zones 2 members out, making this essentially a 5v2. Here's a big smash attempt, not connecting again here actually for SC. But it looks like it might not matter. They have such a win in this fight already. Sank used here aggressively, and they're going to try to turn this, but it's not going to work. Even with Falstad coming back, he still has Gust. There's just no way to turn this. And Jungha jumps in, gets the kill onto Yang. And this aggression is finally starting to pay off for him. It's failed many times before, but now they have 16. And this is just so problematic as L5 now going to dive this bell tower, forcing Resurgence back. They will just steal it away. And they might get more than that. Jungha commits in the kill zone and gets the kill on Falstad. They take the bell tower with them, and they're going to retreat.
Okay, so now Falstad's down, which means no Gust. Tyrael's back up, it doesn't have Sanctification. These very important boss control heroic abilities are not there for Resurgence. L5 moved toward the boss. Nobody coming in to stop in time.
They have to.
As long as L5 can zone, and look, we have Muradin zoning way down at the bottom. That is it, L5 losing some kills earlier on to Resurgence, but winning the war overall. They'll win this series 2-0.
Yeah, definitely a tougher game for them on Towers of Doom here. I feel like they certainly brought a little bit of style to that second game with the Lucio play. Super aggressive out of Swoy for his first career game. Built into the wall ride speed at level 1, used that to just harass nonstop. He got in to deny some of those altar channels early. And even though we saw some overextensions by L5, some really uncharacteristic overextensions, we saw SC kind of off-rolling here, not playing the Zeratul, playing the Ragnaros, which looked fairly weak. Even though they won the series, I feel like teams watching this, they're scared of L5, were like, ooh, there's definitely some holes here in this type of play, this type of drafting, and most definitely in SC's Ragnaros.
Absolutely, but then again, SC generally is playing those ranged heroes, so maybe taking that in, we'll see some adjustments be made, maybe even switching back and forth if SC still feels confident in his Zeratul and they want to continue pairing those heroes together. But we are going to take a break. That was our first series, but we have so many more today, so we'll see you after this break.
Orphaned as a young child, Valeera Sanguinar has led a life of hardship and adventure. She forged iron bonds of friendship with Brawl Baremantle and Varian Rin while fighting alongside them as a gladiator. Even after becoming Varian's advisor and bodyguard, she held on to her independence, which she still maintains as a member of the secretive Uncrowned. Now in the Nexus, Valeera is loyal to neither the Horde nor the Alliance, but to her friends and herself. Valeera is a quick and deceptive assassin who strikes from the shadows with deadly combo attacks. Valeera uses energy instead of mana to cast her abilities. Unlike mana, energy constantly replenishes at a rapid rate. She also generates combo points when using certain abilities on enemy heroes, which she spends to make her finishing move much more powerful. Valeera's first ability is Sinister Strike. Valeera dashes forward, striking all enemies in a straight line. If she hits an enemy hero, she stops immediately, generates a combo point, and the ability's cooldown is significantly reduced. With Blade Flurry, Valeera can damage multiple enemies at once by spinning her blades in an area around her, generating a combo point for each hero she hits. Eviscerate, Valeera's finishing move, can only be used if she has combo points. Casting this ability spends all of her points to slash an enemy with both blades at once. The more combo points she spends, the greater damage Eviscerate deals. Valeera's trait is Vanish. Just like the WoW Rogue ability, activating Vanish immediately places Valeera in stealth, granting her an entire new set of abilities. All of her abilities in stealth generate combo points and bring her out of stealth when she uses them. Ambush is Valeera's signature combat opener, stabbing an unsuspecting enemy with her daggers for heavy damage. If you need crowd control, Cheap Shot allows Valeera to stun an enemy while also dealing a small amount of damage. Garrote is a particularly vicious opener. Along with its initial damage, this ability silences an enemy and deals additional damage over time. The first of Valeera's heroic abilities is Smoke Bomb. She creates a cloud of smoke at her current location. As long as she remains in the cloud, she takes reduced damage and can't be revealed, even while attacking and using her abilities. When using Cloak of Shadows, Valeera shrouds herself in darkness and becomes unstoppable. Valeera also takes reduced ability damage and clears herself of all existing damage over time effects. Valeera excels at isolating powerful enemy heroes and shutting them down. Cheap Shot and Garrote, along with several of her talents, give her plenty of options for keeping the biggest threat to her team on lockdown. Be on the lookout for opportunities to use Valeera's abilities to their greatest potential. Use Blade Flurry when enemies are grouped up to instantly generate 3 combo points. Sinister Strike's dash can be used for its mobility as well as its attack, allowing you to dodge skill shots or escape from a fight. Vanish gives you access to powerful opening attacks, but don't be afraid to start fights out of stealth, then vanish mid-combat to trip up your opponents and continue racking up the damage. When fighting against Valeera, try to knock her out of stealth so that her options are limited. Valeera's heroic abilities focus on survivability. Smoke Bomb is great when fighting multiple enemies in melee range, and Cloak of Shadows helps Valeera avoid being locked down or focus fire. Both abilities can be used from stealth without revealing her, making them powerful tools for setting up team fights or assassinating dangerous enemy heroes. As a legendary rogue and a master assassin, Valeera isn't afraid to slice and dice her foes from the shadows or face to face. Make sure to leave us a comment and subscribe to Heroes of the Storm on YouTube and around the web, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
I'll see you in the shadows.